Hey guys, it's Rolling with Borealis Bushcraft again. Just finished cooking up my lunch here. It's some deer chopped. That's been nice and slowly cooked over the fire. I'll take a piece of this goodness off of here and come show you. Nice. Just perfect. Not too bloody. Dog's loving it. Can't say anything bad about it. That's good. Just cooked on a stick, man. Nothing fancy. Like I said earlier, I'm just out here to have a little bit of fun. Shake out some gear. So I haven't even all my processing that I did, either done with my hands or my Silky. I haven't even taken out my fixed blade knife. Using my M21 to cut my steak. Cut down a stick to, throw a point on it and cook it over the fire. So I think a lot of times when guys go out, and I'm not knocking any particular discipline of survival or bushcraft or preparedness or anything, but I think a lot of times guys will get wrapped up in the, I'm gonna go on a limb and say romanticism, I guess, of prepping survival and bushcraft, and I'm guilty of it too. I used to freaking go out all the time, and it's good. It's good that you're out there building skills. Don't stop building skills. But there comes a point when you realize that, your survival and your bushcraft, they're gonna meet somewhere in that middle, and you're gonna go, yeah, it's all fine and dandy to go out and have like completely minimal equipment and, the whole living off the land thing and everything is it's cool and all, but I don't even know how to explain this. Some point in time, it gets to a point where you just need to get shit done. You don't want to screw about with creating elaborate things. It just needs to work for now, right? And something in there, I think that is where John and I had to get into when we started up the school, was blending survival techniques and bushcraft, because what we use is not completely primitive in terms of the bushcraft spectrum, and it's not 100% just bare bones grunted out fucking survival, right? Like each discipline, bushcraft on the far end of the spectrum, you want to be as comfortable as you possibly can in the wilderness, which is good. Those skills are good to develop. But at the same time, on the other side of that spectrum, the survival side spectrum, right? You've been dumped into a shitty situation, and yeah, you might just have to gut it out. You might not have that option. You might be limited in equipment and location and all kinds of stuff. When I was flying back and forth from Puckawagan to Winnipeg in the winter, flying over that bush, I was like, it was an eye-opener, right? Like, I've been in some deep woods, and I've been in the woods all my life, since I was probably about 8 or 9. But the vastness and the reality of that situation really hit home. It's like, shit, man, this plane frickin' crashes, and I, for some stupid ass miraculous reason, fucking live. Shit's gonna suck. And I had a pack, so, you know, I had my knife, I had all the shit that I needed, but the suck factor was still there, and it was a realization in my head going, man, I'm not sure I like flying so much. But anyway, that's just whatever, goofing around a bit. But, you know, the one thing about, and I try and tell this to a lot of people, especially people that I work with and stuff, and guys that go up to remote locations all the time, they drive up on winter roads, you know, they fly in, stuff like that. The emergency never bloody well happens when you're at camp, or when you're theoretically at work, performing your duties. Usually shitty situations are going to happen in between. So, on your way to work, right? Driving equipment up to, say, Puckawagan, for instance, right? Or, you know, flying back. Pilot has engine trouble, has to set it down on the lake. Now what? Right? So being prepared for situations like that is kind of paramount. The shittiest plane flight, and this is no word of a lie, was flying out of Winnipeg or Richardson International Airport in Winnipeg, going to Thompson when we were working in Lynn Lake and Leaf Rapids, because that plane, even though I had all my equipment, it was all in my checked luggage, because we've got this thing called airport security, where you can't just walk onto the frickin' plane with a big survival knife and frickin' a bunch of survival equipment and not have somebody look at you like you got 3 fucking heads. It just doesn't happen. So, now what? How do you adapt your system to deal with situations like that? Right? That is why learning some of the more primitive stuff helps out. Can you get by without the knife? Yeah. Can you get by without, you know, a lighter? Sure, I can substitute a fire steel. Whatever, right? Rub 2 frickin' sticks together. Building those skills is good. But that's where you need to have that dirt time to accomplish that. You don't want to just do it a couple of times, get proficient at it, and then kind of say, yeah, I got tools in my toolbox, and kind of leave it there, because those skills are perishable. Right? And in reality, if you're rubbing 2 sticks together, you've gone and done something wrong. Oh, getting old. Bloody hell. So it's about an hour later, and I haven't added any wood to my fire or anything. I just kind of rearranged some stuff. Warm that up a bit. It's kind of cold. Temperature's not bad out right now. It's actually fairly warm. It's probably about -9, 8, 9. Starting to snow a wee bit. It's supposed to be -43 with the wind chill tonight. So to get stuck out here would suck. It's completely doable, but it would suck. That fire would be absolutely huge. But yeah, so when it comes to your, I guess, you say evolution in your survival methodology and stuff, don't just practice one discipline and think you're good, right? I know a lot of people that they'll take a survival course, and then they'll be like, yeah, this was really good, really interesting. And then they won't even go out and practice the stuff that they learned. So they don't, even though they've taken the course and they may have absorbed 10%, that other 90% is maybe locked away somewhere in their subconscious. But if you don't go out and you don't practice those skills, you're not going to own those skills. Years ago, David Canterbury said it really right. He goes, you've got to practice and own those skills. Can you walk into the woods and start a fire rubbing two sticks together? Yes or no? If the answer is no, maybe that's something that you want to pursue. I'm not 100% the greatest at friction fire. I don't do it all the time, but I practice it enough that in my location, I can be proficient enough with it that I'm not going to be suffering. But on the same hand, if I'm doing that, I've gone and done and fucked up. Right? Unless I'm purposely driven out there to do that, and that's the focus of, quote, the training exercise that I'm looking at, right? So every time you go to the woods, you should, you know, pick a couple of small topics and practice them. If it works, great. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board. Start doing some more research, look at stuff, and figure it out. Figure out what's going to work for you. The way I do something might not work for you. The way you do something might not work for me. But that's part of the evolution, right? Like, there's always a better way to do something. You know, a lot of information in the survival world is quite literally regurgitated. Everybody's guilty of it, including myself, because this is not new stuff. This has been around for centuries. Some of the equipment is new. Some of the concepts might be slightly different or modified, but the overall principle is going to be the same. It's not, this shit's not rocket science, right? You know, if it was rocket science, none of us would frickin' be here. It's pretty simple. You know, can you hunt? Can you fish? Can you start a fire? Can you make a shelter? It's not rocket science. Your body needs very, very little to actually survive. You need to control your core temperature. You need to hydrate, which helps control your core temperature. And you need to be able to friggin' feed yourself. Right? So, aside of that, probably the next thing I would say that the human body needs is other human contact. There's many, many cases where guys have gone into the woods and gone completely friggin' stir crazy because they've got zero human contact, you know? There's tons of books on that kind of stuff, but yeah. But I'm gonna finish up my lunch here and yeah, clean up my mess to some extent. The dog's licking the plate, which is just the piece of birch bark I used as a kneeling pad. Worked great. Always does. But, you know, keep it simple, guys. Keep practicing stuff, you know. If you guys want to come out and take courses, go on our website, borealisbushcraft.com. Shoot us an email, and yeah, you know, we can arrange a meetup, or, you know, even if you guys are local and you just want to hook up and go out and have some fun, you know, we're usually always up for that kind of stuff. You know, it's not always about, you know, being out in the woods, and teaching is not always about making money. It's about passing on that knowledge, right? I've taught lots of courses for free. You know, usually to friends and family, and, you know, like military members and stuff I'll take out, and it might not be a completely full-blown weekend-long or week-long course, but I'll pass that knowledge on whenever I get the opportunity, right? I used to do it for the scout leaders quite a bit, and yeah, but you know. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Guys, have a good winter, and yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Ugh.